Have you ever wondered what it's like to put together a podcast without any experience and then all of a sudden it's your 100th episode? What we do, welcome to the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast. Today is our 100th episode, and we are going to talk about the process and everything we've learned, what our goals are, and all the new things you guys get to look forward to here for episodes 100 plus 200,000 beyond, because we're not going anywhere. So listen up and lean in as we elevate your mind.
Whoa!
100. Oh, we should have got those like balloons.
Oh,
100.
damn. I know.
Well, I have to do it for.
Well, before we decided to record it when we did, I was like, oh, we'll go over and I'll have champagne. And then I was like, maybe because you'll be so fucked up from having a baby that might not even happen.
Hey, it could happen.
It could happen.
We could always edit it in. Oh, so 100th episode. It's kind of crazy, you guys, because we started in April.
When I tell people, because I'm like, oh yeah, I have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, how many episodes do you guys do? I'm like 3 a week. And they're like, 3 a week. I'm like, yeah. We talk a lot. 3
a week. We talk a lot. Yeah. We have hundreds of followers, all in different places.
Yep.
YouTube, currently we sit at 92 followers. On Spotify, we have 107 followers, and I know on Apple we have 89. So for 100 episodes, I would have assumed we'd have a bigger following, but it is what it is. And
I didn't. That was one thing that I did not think. My thing was like, get the content. And because even with our social media strategy or whatever's happening right now on social media is like, just because there's views doesn't mean there's subscribes either.
Mm-hmm.
So just because they subscribe doesn't mean they listen, but just because they don't subscribe doesn't mean they don't listen either.
That's true. We do have a good amount of listen.
Yeah.
We have 6,918. I'm sorry, 6,487 plays.
That's a lot.
That's awesome. Okay. And shout out to Veronica Orellana from the Mind Pump Forum. Someone was asking about podcasts, and I put ours. She goes, I love this podcast. I was like, yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Hello. Please tell your friends. So I've been thinking about doing this. I've had people ask me for years to do a podcast. And
really?
Oh, yeah. Plenty of clients. And it's just been so much fun. It's so fun. Even like Dr. Lana was like, this is like talking to your girlfriends. I'm like, yeah, that's what we want. We want to like talk to our girlfriends about being a little bit healthier, but also by creating balance. Like, I don't feel like if someone told us something that they would feel like we were judging them.
No. Because,
I talked about last episode, like after getting out of all my dad's stuff, I had a girls' day, and
I've literally talked about my vagina on here.
Yeah.
Michael was like, could you not? I was like, no.
Like, I have to. People need to know.
People need to know.
Which makes me happy, because obviously there's a ton of health and wellness content out there, but learning how to live a balanced life that's sustainable is our ultimate goal. And learning that what you say in your fucking mind, you see in the mirror, is so true for everything we live for.
Right.
And my goal in this world, on this earth, is to get this message to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Whether it's through free content, whether it's through coaching, whether it's through talking to you at, where was I? Oh, at the hospital, talked to a PT in the elevator. We walked to the cafeteria together. She's like, can I get your information? Or the 3 ladies that I talked to at Oceans 44 after going out for my friend's birthday. And then, we were talking. It was fun. And they're like, I want to work with you. I'm like, great. It's like, I'm not usually like this when I'm working.
I'm usually sober on our calls.
Yeah. Very sober.
So, your experience might be a little different than right now, just a forewarning.
Yeah. So very exciting. When we started this, what were your expectations?
So my first expectation was, okay, we need to start a podcast, because what we talk about is so atypical, and it's really hard to get that message out, like on social media or just like these random people that you meet. Cause like, you want to be like, blah, like this is my brain dump, but I can't.
Right.
So listen to this. My expectation when we started first, it was, do we actually like this? Like,
Mm.
do we enjoy this? Because if we don't, then we don't need to go down this rabbit hole. Because if
Mhm.
for people who are listening, if you don't, there is no return on investment immediately from a podcast. And so it's like literally a free
We're
thing
not
that you
making any
do.
money.
Yeah, that you just invest a lot of time and equipment on
Mhm.
with no return. So like from a business perspective, it doesn't make sense to do. So
Yep.
my first thought was, we need to make sure we like it, because if we don't like it, we don't need to do it. Like we can allocate our resources elsewhere.
Mhm.
And then I remember I came over and we like looked at each other and we're like, oh fuck, we like this.
Yes.
So,
Love it.
so that was the first goal, which I know sounds very mundane and silly, but I mean, really. And so at my goals leading up to it was to, one, get the content, which we started doing and figuring out. But then two was like, okay, now that, and this is more of a recent thing that we've done, is now that we've got like this generation machine going, is how do we
Mhm.
upgrade the machine?
Right.
And so like, does that mean we go and get a studio? But then we learned like, no, this isn't really like right for us, especially
Mhm.
with, again, the investment, but then what you get for the investment. I'm like, okay, that's a lot of stuff that we could do, or
Yeah.
that, or I could do
We're
right
already
now.
doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then it was like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. And then it was like, so where do we need to go with it? And so for me now going into, so currently goal is like just consistency and whatnot, and making
Mhm.
sure that we are well prepared should you need to step away, or should I go through my maternity leave, like that we've got enough stuff to keep us going where we can hop back in.
Right.
Or like, say I need to record for like 2 hours, like I certainly can,
Mhm.
and it, or like say you need to record for 1 hour, like we have that ability now.
Mhm.
Then my goal now is to, one, I want to get you on interviews. And so that
Yes.
was where Ira had the media kit and whatnot that she
Mhm.
was making. And I paused on that because of certain life situations where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna like be like, hey, she's gonna interview Christina. Are you free tomorrow? Like,
Yeah. Like,
now's not a good time, Amanda.
yeah, not a good time.
So that's my one goal, is to get you on other podcast interviewing, because you speak so well and eloquently about our message.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Uh-huh.
It is practiced.
Yeah. Well, it took time, but still.
Yes.
So that's my next thing. And then right now I'm just learning a lot about like social media strategy.
Mhm.
Which the more I'm learning, the more I'm realizing there is no fucking strategy.
Yes.
Like
You
it's
did figure out thumbnails because
I did I did figure out thumbnails. We did figure out posting schedule. Um, we did figure out like, but even it's really interesting because, and so for I'm some people probably know this world and could give advice, but like from the client's YouTube course that I took and talking to her, it was really, really eye-opening on how you almost like backtrack. You don't do it the way you think, but then this is how you can optimize it. But even then, like you're just kind of hoping it works. And that's where my cousin is very helpful, because his jam is like marketing and media and advertisement.
yeah.
Because I would text him and be like, this is, and he's like, honestly, nobody fucking knows. So don't worry
Yeah.
about it. Like just do your best, right? But like
Mhm.
keep going. And it's interesting because on the last episode that we recorded, you were talking about a podcast that you listen to, but for some reason I'm reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's book.
Mm.
It's like 7 rules for life or something like that. It's basically a David Goggins version of like, do this.
Mhm.
And it's talking about like, get clarity on what you want and decide you're going to have that. And
Mhm.
because once you decide you're going to have that, you don't give yourself a plan B. There is no plan B. Plan B means that there's another option, but there's not. If this is what you want. And so he was even saying, like, they don't say, like, our next president, so and so, so and so. They say, this is our president, like they
Mhm.
already determine. And so even the words you use. And so I'm like, okay. And for me, I feel like you and I both have like, this is going to be successful. We just now have to figure out like the ins and outs of doing it, and
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I was talking about like what are your competing beliefs in
Mm.
that podcast I was listening to. And for me, I have had this mindset of I have nothing to lose because I can always fall back on something else, but I need to get rid of that belief. Like, no,
Yes.
that's not an option. And that's what they were talking about in that podcast was, no, yes, could I go back to therapy or sales? Sure. But like,
Sure.
no, that's not an option.
Right.
Because if I make it an option, then I open myself up to that being an option.
Right.
Whereas I truly believe that our partnership here and, with the business is something that is going to be very, very successful. And it's just going to take time. And my biggest struggle is comparison,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Well, when you were talking, I was comparing like our analytics to someone else's I know who was on their 100th episode and blah, 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 blah. But I just know, and like we've talked about, this is our investment era. We are kind of going all in and all in with our time, all in with the podcast studio that's being built, which we'll talk about. And it's not scary because I have so much faith in it.
Yeah.
And it's fun and people enjoy it, right? It's crazy to think that someone we do not know sits there and like listens to us talk about things and takes what they need, right? Not everything, which is totally okay. And they're using these tools and their life is getting better. And we may never meet them in our lives. But like that to me is it's such a
Wild.
wonderful gift to be able to do that. And we do it because we love this and we believe in it so much. And we talk about it all the time of the way we look at health and wellness is so vastly different than the other people out there. But I think what we've created and what we are educated in and what we've experienced in our own stories and our own experiences can stand the test of time, where doing your, 8-week fat loss challenge does not.
No. And that's what I find. So I would equate it to this because I kind of, where was I on Sunday? Yes. I finally like had, like one of those full circle moments where you're like, oh, okay. So of course I have been getting a lot of advice, recommendations, input, like causes on pregnancy. Yeah. On pregnancy. And some of it's really great. Some of it I'm like, okay, I could do without this. And, but I thought, oh, these people are sharing that because they're so passionate about it and they want to share their experience. And I was like, and I feel the same about like this business. And so, cause sometimes I have to be mindful that I don't need to like love bomb somebody about the mental health aspects of nutrition, mindset, body image, fitness, blah, blah, blah. And so I like try and like keep that contained. But if someone would just let that burst out, which I think this podcast allows me to do in a more structured way, I should say, then it makes me like very excited. And I know like that's one thing about all these like guru books and like podcasts about like business ownership. Like if it makes you excited, then it doesn't matter. Right. Like we could be like, we could make $0 off it. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll keep doing it. Tell me what you need me to do. How do you want me to help?
Yeah.
Because it's so much fun because you also get to learn a lot about yourself too. Like, for example, when you were talking about, like excessive exercise is like a form of purging. Like I didn't know that, so I still get to learn about myself and how I do identify, used to identify. And then even going into like, the podcast inspired me to do like a docu-series that I'm doing for the postpartum phase. And so I can share that in a different way where we don't need like podcast episodes about that, but we can talk about, hey, I've got this, like this came out this week. This is what I learned. If you're more interested, go check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've learned a lot about lactation and weird shit that happens to your body. I was who was I talking to? Oh, I was with someone and I was like, yeah, I've learned all this stuff from Amanda. I think it was Sonia or somebody. Yeah. It was funny. But no, you definitely do. And then our guests that we've had on thus far have been so helpful in sharing their knowledge, obviously, to our community, but us too, just opens up the idea of, like, I think about, postpartum OCD and some of the insights that came out of that. Obviously, everything we've done on hormone health. Sometimes it has been reassuring and validating with our own message. And oftentimes we're learning something new, which is wonderful because that means our community and our listeners are learning something new as well.
Right.
I interrupt this episode to bring you the Mindset of Matter Black Friday specials that you will absolutely want to take advantage of. For the first time ever in my program, I'm offering $500 off of the one-to-one Mindset Method program. This is the program that Amanda and I talk about. Whenever we're talking about clients we've done one-to-one coaching with. This includes a weekly call with your coach, access to the Mindset Method curriculum, access to customizable exercise and nutrition coaching based on everything we talk about, and so much more. And for the first time ever, we are offering $500 off with a paid in full purchase. Number 2, we now have a new group coaching program, the Mindset Method Movement. And for the first time, we are offering 1 month free with a 3-month commitment. So for 3 months, you get 4 months instead, or 3 months free with a 12-month commitment. So for the price of 12 months, you get 15 months instead. This includes access to the Mindset Method curriculum and access to 2 group coaching calls with me every single week so that you can process what you're learning. You also get access to the Mindset Method Movement community forum, and we will have the ability to add on customized nutrition and exercise coaching at a discounted rate. So check out the show notes below for the links to any of those programs. And just as a reminder, giving the gift of health and wellness is one of the greatest gifts you can give to someone. So if you think someone could benefit from these amazing programs, please take advantage of this throughout the month of November. Now, back to the show. I'm a big thinker. I have on my
Vision board,
top new podcast right there at the top. And our goal was new and noteworthy on Apple Podcasts. I think that's still possible for us to get on there. We just need more reviews and I think subscribers. I'm not sure. We're doing everything right. We have the content. We're consistent. We just need the reviews, which we are continuing to work on. It goes such a long way, you guys, for the algorithm, because we can put out content all day long, but if it's not seen as received and worthy, then it's not as easy to get on those types of lists. But that is something that we continue to work on. And, in my brain, we will be up there with the top podcast. We just have to, let's talk about the process because we've learned a lot. So I don't know if you guys remember, we used to record in the guest room and it was just hard because that's Mark's office. We had to set it up, pull it down. Sometimes we didn't record.
Brooklyn.
Fucking Brooklyn. My dog. And it didn't sound good. And then we bought this very expensive camera and it didn't do the wide lens that we needed. So we don't even know what we're doing this. I think we're just going to buy the wide lens and then use our phones for our front facing. So, lighting, sound, editing, putting it on YouTube, making reels, all of these things we've literally learned as we went. And we're still learning. Like you said, it's nutsos to me that certain things on social media hit, but then they don't hit on YouTube, but then you do hit on TikTok and vice versa. It's craziness. But
and even like going back to your analytics real quick. So one of the things I learned, so we're like, oh, great. We got like 1,000 views on something. But if we get more impressions, that's actually YouTube doing the work for us. So YouTube is taking that. Yeah. So the views is great. But if say we got 1,000 views, but 4,000 impressions on another video that maybe only got, we'll say 500 views, then that other video is technically more valuable because it's showing it to 4,000 people as opposed to the other one is only showing it. It only showed it to those 1,000 that viewed it.
Yeah.
And so you look at that, you're like, what? Like, okay. Great. Wonderful.
It's mind-boggling. Yeah. We obviously have come back to the Zoom for the past couple of months. Mainly, there was a lot of reasons. It was the setup. It was being sick, being pregnant, and it's just a bit easier However, my husband over the weekend, this and last weekend, is creating our pod studio in our tough shed in the backyard. It is now insulated
I have to tell you what
and the
Michael said. Go ahead.
drywall is almost up. Okay, well, I was like, why don't you text Michael and ask him to help you? Why don't you text Michael and ask him to help you? Why don't you text Michael and ask him to help you? Because this fool's trying to do this by himself.
I know. I saw like, well, especially like when you sent me the video of him doing the installation. I'm like, I know a guy. Like, I know a
Really
guy.
is a
And
job.
actually, we have a lot of insulation sitting in our fucking garage right now that I would love to get rid of. Yeah,
Well, we
but I
bought.
don't know if it's the same. Anyway, so Michael, we were talking today before we hopped on. I forget what he said. He said, "Where's the pod studio?" I said, "Well, Mark's been working on it because he's like, I thought you guys we're going to start that." I said, "Yeah, Mark's been working on it." And he goes, "Oh, that's cool." He goes, "Man, that Mark, he's like the best guy." I said, "He really is a great guy." And he goes, "You didn't get no Mark." I said, "I got kind of close, but yeah, you're no Mark." Like, he was like, "Thanks." And I'm like, "Hey, you threw the softball." Like,
Right, exactly.
yeah, we were like, "Oh, we were both like love bombing each other about your husband today."
Yeah. I love bombed him this weekend because Mark, with my dad being sick, would wake up, go get my mom from the hospital so she could come
Oh,
and take a shower here. I
see,
know. He's the best.
that's I
You
think the other thing we have to talk about is like the significant other support that we've had
Oh
in
my
it.
gosh.
I know.
Yes.
Like
They
Mark's building us a podcast studio. Michael has literally like looked at every camera or anything like microphone or he'll
Mhm.
because even like when I was talking about rearranging this room, he's like, "No, the lighting, like you need to make sure like where he's." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know you knew any of this because I don't." And
Yeah.
and he's literally been like, "Keep going, keep going, keep going." Because I'll be like, like,
Mhm.
because they're to
We
be
want more
transparent.
people.
Yeah, to be transparent, sometimes you're like, "Am I even like talking to somebody, or am I just talking to Christina for 4 hours every week
I'm
on a bare
talking
minimum?"
Yeah.
And so, and he's like, "No, you guys have a message. Keep going, keep going." I'm like, "Okay."
Aw.
And yeah, and he's like, "Come on, hun, like you can do it." I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I know. And we look at the analytics, but I think, at the end of the day, we don't know how many people are hearing this, but I know it's not just the two of us.
Right.
So, but no, they've been super supportive in even the setup. Mark would set it
Mhm.
up, but the way that it's going to work in the new studio is yes, please ask Michael if he can help.
Okay.
Um, is everything will be set up where we just come in and press like a
Yeah.
couple buttons and the lighting will be up on the top, cameras down at the bottom. Obviously the microphones will already be set up so we don't have to take them
Mhm.
down and bring them back up. And literally you guys, all of our equipment was in our spare bedroom closet.
Yeah.
Like I would take it out, unravel it,
Right.
plug it all in, try to remember if we hit every step
Oh,
of plugging it in.
yeah.
Yeah, so crazy. But the new studio will have that.
Are you
You'll
gonna use
also
it as
see
your
us.
office too still?
Yep,
Good,
yep. So you'll
good.
walk into it. It's like basically the size of a room,
Yeah,
a small room. It's like 10 by 12. And so, or like 8 by 10. I don't remember, something like that.
whatever.
So you'll walk right into my office area. So that way I don't have to walk over equipment. So the
Oh,
equipment
good.
will be on that side. The
Yeah,
door where the door is will be my office. So you'll see this is all going there. And then we'll have the mini fridge in there. So like
sweet.
waters and snacks
Uh-huh.
and a place for the playpen. It'll
Fuck
have
yeah.
AC. Yeah, the AC powers a 500 square foot room, and that's 250. So
Okay, don't know what that means, but sounds great.
it'll be cold.
Okay.
It'll be very cold because it literally the size of the AC is double the size that room needs.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Electric's already set up. So we just I need to order and maybe Michael, I know he said he had like a lighting. So if you guys are listening and you are experts in this area, please let us know what we should get. But we have mostly everything. It's just the lighting and
Mhm.
and if we want to do up lighting in the back, we need the audio, the soundproofing for one wall.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's in the making. So hopefully literally in the next couple of weeks, that will be done. Cause I'm kind of I'm like a bridezilla, but a shedzilla. because I want that shit done. I'm a shedzilla. I want to get out of this room. Like, I hate, like, I just want my own space. I want to just have,
I think,
like,
well, I think the room symbolizes like how you've grown the business in a way too. Right. Like, 'cause you've been in that room for years
yeah,
and you work out in that room and you are in that room and you're always, and now it's kind of like where the room doesn't suit the capacity anymore. Like you're
correct.
overflowing from it.
Yes. And I don't want to have to move my desk back and forth. And then
No.
it's like, it's just
Yeah.
like a lot of stupid shit.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for our upcoming like guests. And, you know, I've been shooting my shot with people who have no reason to want to be on this podcast because there's a lot of influencers or celebrities out there who they want to be on the bigger names, but I don't give a shit. I will keep asking until someone says, I'm going to send you a cease and desist or whatever it's called. Cease and
Like, stop
desist.
harassing me, ma'am.
Yes. Is it cease and desist?
Yeah, cease and desist.
Okay, thought so. Or yeah, harassment, something. Because I know so many celebrities would love to be, instead of talking about, oh, how'd you lose weight or da-da-da, like, share your story. Talk about how shitty that feels. Let's talk about what it's like for your body. What did it feel like when you're going through that? Let's normalize normal bodies. Or even normalize, yes, I do stay fit, but I'm trying in myself as a celebrity with a chef, with a trainer, with all these things to find balance. That's what I want for this. I want to have women like Blake Lively. I want to have Taylor Swift. Like, I want to have Jennifer Lopez. I want those women to be able to come on our podcast and talk about what they said in their minds, what they see in the mirror. Like, that is the ultimate goal for me, to have that ability to do it. Because there are plenty of people who are no one in this space who do that. Plenty of people. Like Diary of a CEO.
Oh.
I don't know what he did beforehand.
Yeah, I looked him up one day because I was like, how did he make money?
Yeah, the Think Like a Monk guy. Not even a real monk, but
Really?
fucking makes money. No, he's not a monk. Hubert, well, he's a doctor, but still, there's so many people in this space that call her daddy.
Yeah.
She's made $60 million.
What?
Like, yeah, she just got a new contract through Barstool, I believe it is. Yeah. So I know it's possible, and I dream big and I believe in it because no one else is fucking doing it. No one else is doing it. And if they're doing it, they're contradicting themselves. What are you looking at? Your face looks.
Stephen, I'm looking at the CEO guy because I'm like, I don't even know what these businesses are. Like, he just sold them for a bunch of money.
Good for him.
Yeah.
You know, the Mindset Mentor, who I listen to every day because they're like 20 minutes. He talks about it too. He's like, yeah, I could have done this with my life, or I did this and I just put it all in and here we are. And he makes money and he's got ads and all this stuff.
Yeah. It's a very long game. I'll put it that way. And I think is hard because you're like, where's the end of the tunnel? Where's the end of the tunnel? When does the light come? But then I think when you look back, like we're talking about, and you see like, we've actually kind of gone through the tunnel. We just are in another tunnel now. Like, but I wouldn't have recognized, I would think we're still in the same tunnel, but it's like, no, we actually have progressed quite a bit. Just on like figuring out what works, what doesn't, what we actually need, what we don't need, who we resonate with and who we don't too.
Yeah.
Because there's been people where we're like, you know, that's not really part of our message, or sometimes some people, it's like, we're just not familiar with you, you know, and it's nothing against you, but sometimes it's nice to have a familiar voice where you're not that you're in an echo chamber, but we're very aware of the topics that we talk about and the reality that women face. And we want to make sure that they're getting the correct message that we believe in too. Instead of just being like, sure, you know, like Oprah, everybody gets a car. We just want to make sure that
I want Oprah on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like Oprah on the show because I would ask her some questions.
Getting
Mhm.
that mind, girl. My
Mhm.
gosh. All it takes is one person to say yes, and then it's game over,
Mhm.
you know? So, Blake, Jennifer, Taylor, I want to
Mhm.
talk to like Lizzo. I want to talk to I want to talk to Khloe Kardashian,
Oh, yeah. I
people
do
who've
wanna
just
talk to
been just demolished because of stupid shit.
Yeah.
So, that's our
Well, that's
goal.
also, like, one of my goals is getting you on other podcasts because it's like and you've been on other podcasts too,
Mhm. I enjoy it.
already. Yeah, but it's more so of, like because the whole thing of social media, and I'm sure people know this, is to create kind of a circle of like
Mm,
and it ends up kind of repeating it back to itself and cycling back. But I think again, there's so many fitness podcasts that miss the message sometimes. Like they'll
mhm.
say it, but then all of a sudden they don't really elaborate on the mindset piece of it. They're just kind of like, hey, it's really beneficial to do this and to work
Yeah.
on the mindset piece and then work on the training. But then they focus like on the training recommendation or the training topic. And it's
Mhm.
like, well, you just missed the whole point though, because you can tell them the training thing, but you can't like we can't work on the training thing without working on the mindset thing because they're going to end up back to that original question because
Yeah.
of the mindset piece.
Ladies, I know the holiday season can be so overwhelming from the gift giving to the baked goods to the parties to the family. It's chaos. And I'm guessing you usually put yourself on the back burner thinking in your head, I'll just start over again in January. But how many times have you done this to yourself? Maybe this year we try something different. November 24th starts the Mindset to Matter Winter Wellness Challenge. This challenge helps you manage the season by matching your movement and habits based on your stress levels, introducing small, simple habits and movement goals that will help you prioritize yourself through the holidays. This is how it works. You ask yourself, how crazy is today going to be? Super crazy, high stress, we do some gentle movement and easy habits. If it's an easy day, low stress, we go for it. Plus, we add easy habits like drinking water, getting enough sleep, stress management, and nutritional habits that build on each other week over week. These small steps aren't just for the holidays. What you're doing is creating a foundation of prioritizing yourself no matter what is going on in your life. Taking this foundation into 2025, making it your best year ever. So if you are ready to not walk into January 1st completely burnt out, comment challenge below for more information. You know what I was just thinking of? Remember how Ira asked us to do the 12 days of Christmas? What
Yeah.
if we did the 12 days of Christmas, but it was like literally the reflections from
Oh,
and doing one each episode?
uh-huh.
And then people would, you get the questions of the
Yeah.
reflections. Does that
Right.
necessarily mean you're not getting the coaching side of things?
Right.
But that would
That's
be
true.
kind of cool. But
Well, it
anyway,
would be a good, like, I would say that would be a good introduction of you're getting the questions, but you're not getting the work. But like, if the work is maybe financially limiting, based on our cost or maybe time or whatever perceived barrier there is, then the self-guided program would be great for that
yep,
because
yep,
that's
yep.
where you would actually work through it.
Yeah. So good. So yeah, eventually get to a place where one of my biggest goals is to get on a network. And
Oh,
whether that is Mind Pump, like if
oh,
they started a podcast network,
oh, uh-huh.
you know, or something like that, where Spotify is getting to the point where people are asking us, like, hey, we want you to join our network.
I see.
And also eventually getting to a place where we have advertisement.
Mhm,
That is not the mindset.
mhm,
But I know when Adam Schaefer from Mind Pump talks about it, they did not monetize for many, many years, I want to say,
mhm.
because they wanted to make sure that everyone that they aligned with in regards to sponsors was in alignment with their message.
Right,
So
right. Well,
I
and
think
that's
that's
kind of our thing too, is like so for example, if like Skinny Tea reaches out to us,
no,
it'd be like, I
no,
mean, we'll promote you, but let's we're probably gonna do an episode about how this isn't effective.
no,
You
I would
know?
not take it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't take it.
Or
We've mentioned things like LMNT, we love them. We've mentioned things like Zbiotics, we love them. We've mentioned what
your
else?
chili pad or whatever, your sleep
Oh,
aid
my
sleep or
chili
what
sleep.
yeah, your
Oh,
chili sleep.
it's so wonderful. I just want it to be warm like that
Yeah.
all morning. So that's the goal. And
Fabletics.
Fabletics, yes. Give me.
Kate.
I would love for Fabletics to.
I know.
We are everything that they are. They promote health at different sizes. They promote fitness. They don't talk about mindset, but still, I think that they say, look, you can work out and do your thing and look good, and you don't have to be a stick figure, which I
Yeah.
love.
Mhm.
And the other goal is just continuing to create content. So one of the things I was thinking about is we've been very, and for the audience in the comments, please answer this. We've been so focused on the nutrition, the mindset, the exercise, because that's our wheelhouse. But do you guys want to learn more about, relationships and business and things that we're also very passionate about?
Mhm.
I think of some of the podcasts I follow, and while it's all about self-growth and personal development, if we turn this focus more on personal development, and what I mean by more is not the majority, but topics like that, would our audience like to hear those types of
I've got
things?
an example for that. So, for example, you are interested in becoming a coach, and how do I get started? Or how
Mhm,
do I make a profitable in-person training, like
mhm.
coaching? Or how do I find clients? Like stuff like that. Because
Yeah,
I think you
or
and I could both speak really well to that. Or
oh,
how do I modify group fitness, because I enjoy doing group fitness classes and teaching them, but like I want to make sure the clients get the most out of it.
yes, or how do I go back to our slogan, like, how, when I never felt personal love, try to seek love in another person? Like, that's something I can speak
Mhm.
about,
Mhm.
or how do I, not fuck up my kid? That's something we can speak about. So I think I think we start adding some of those off topic. They're not though, because our slogan, if
Right.
we can, I think expanding on the slogan, what you say in the mind, you see in the mirror, in career, in relationships, in your family, I think that will resonate, and it sets us even more apart
Mhm.
from others. Because what I don't want to do is, you guys probably listen to a lot of podcasts where you're just like, oh, we're saying this again. And
Mhm.
Sarah told us, she goes, no, 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 Christina, you guys need to stop saying we've said this a million times, because sometimes it takes a million times for you to be like, oh, because you said it in a different way that time.
Huh.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So
Sarah.
that's feedback. Yeah, we love her. We love Sarah. So I just want to make sure that, again, as we do in our program, that it's the long game,
Mhm.
it's the longevity game. And that as we get older, you have your child, like all of this is something that we can continually talk about, and how that slogan of what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror, changes
Mhm.
over time, right? And through different life challenges and experiences. I mean, I'm going through it with my dad, and I can see how literally my mindset has shifted in this process. And the awareness piece of being able to even notice that is huge, right?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Because I mean, you
and
could say the same for me of like, I went through pregnancy. I'm almost done, but like being able to recognize like, wow, like I actually had it. I don't. This is going to sound wrong, but I actually had like a pretty good grip on the nutrition, gaining weight, body image piece of it that I
mhm,
didn't think I was going to have. Like
mm,
I remember being like, oh fuck, like okay, like here we go, like kind of like pep talking myself like it's going to be
mhm.
okay. I've got support systems like, but it really didn't need to happen that much. Like it was a very neutral experience
Yeah,
of I didn't hate my body. I didn't look at it with disgust. I didn't like go like, "Oh my gosh, I'm gaining weight," or anything like that. And that's not to say I never had like a moment of that, but I just thought I was going to be a lot more fucked up, to be honest. Like
yeah,
I did because I thought like old me was going to come back in. Like this was going to be because this is a really easy gateway to have that come back in.
absolutely.
And so it's like, okay, like I got through that.
Yeah,
And so it's interesting because I mean, you can apply that even to the podcast. Like we didn't know what we were doing. And then you're kind of learning and going. And then you got these experience and you can look back and be like, okay, we got that. Like we made it this part. And
hmm
so it's nice to see that. And I think for you and I both to still be able to live lives too, not be like
Yes.
married to business. Like we both very much love business and like watching something grow and working on it, but where we still have that boundary of like, let's just go to brunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is always a yes.
Mhm.
You know, another big goal is, being female entrepreneurs, being able to create a business to provide other women an opportunity to work,
Mhm.
right? And to work. You hear a lot of people talk about, I really want to work for something I believe in.
Right.
And as we grow and we're able to hire people and have a team and all of that, like that's going to mean so much to have somewhere, a workplace that people can believe in too.
Mhm.
So, I'm thinking about growth. It's, a lot of people think financial, make money, make money. It's like there's so much more to that.
Right.
The more that we can help other people and, put that message, get that message out there and build and build and build off of that. That means more to me than anything else.
Yeah.
You
Same.
know, so it's just hard, and let's talk about the hard stuff. I think it's been hard not seeing the growth in the audience as
Mhm.
quickly as my little brain, you know, Shedzilla brain wants. It's been hard with the social media thing that I've talked about. And seeing people who just promote the same old bullshit, oh, look at this is the meal plan I had to lose, 30 pounds. Comment meal plan and you'll get it. And then they have all these comments and these things, these shares and all of that. So what I've realized though is I have to stop that. I'm giving it too much energy. It's fucking with my vibration.
Mhm.
It's fucking with this vessel of my body
Mhm.
that needs to be big enough. I need to have enough energy to allow all the good to come in. But when I do that, I shrink and I get smaller and I get pigeonholed into, negative Nancy Shedzilla brain.
Mhm.
So that's been really hard. But wait, we're great. Do you see how great we are? Like, come on, people. We're so good.
Mhm.
See how good we are. So
I
that's
don't
been my
fall
struggle.
into like sometimes a comparison thing I do, but then what I ended up starting doing was actually looking at the data of it and the
Mhm.
messaging and going like, I can't compare because they don't have the same message.
Yeah.
So it's not very fair for me, and my thinking was like, it's not fair for me to compare to that because we're talking about, she's talking about apples and I'm talking about like vegetables, or something like that.
Yeah.
For me, the hardest part has just initially was like the management of time, but that was quickly solved by pregnancy and like realizing like I literally cannot do all of this.
Mm.
And what do
Mhm.
I truly enjoy doing, or what do I have the time to, or what, where am I at like season wise? So that was one of my harder things because it's like I want to do all that, but I
Mhm.
can't. And I think the harder thing looking forward is like I know what it looks like, but I don't know what it looks like because of a kid,
Yeah.
And so you're like, shit. Like I know, like because even I remember, I think it was on a call with Alenka. I don't know if I was like helping her because she built that like mid-level tier that she's got or something like that. So
Mhm.
I let her interview me, and the question she was asking, it was kind of like, oh fuck, like I'm like literally thinking to November X like due date, and then anything after that is like I'm going to cross that bridge when I get there, But now
Right.
I'm at that bridge, but I think the beauty of that it's been more defined as I've gotten there, but the hard thing was not defining it and
Yeah.
not saying like I knew like okay, podcast will still happen, mindset and matter coaching will still happen. The rest I have no idea.
Mhm.
And that's hard because, like you built business and they're profitable and they're doing well and you've got your connections. And then all of a sudden it's like, maybe not anymore.
Yeah. Ugh.
I know.
Yeah. It's scary, but hey, jump in, baby.
Doing it
Water's great. So, well, and the best part is getting to talk to you every
every
day
Monday.
of my life.
Yeah. Every Monday, every day.
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 Every day. You've become one of my best friends.
I
And
know, isn't that wild? Like
I
when
was
we
thinking
started.
about you slid into my DMs, girl.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, I've got this fucked up relationship that I need you to solve."
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Where do I go?
how much do you cost? Here.
Literally, I don't think
Solve
anyone
it.
knows how we met. I
I
don't think
know.
we've ever talked about this.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Maybe on our
So
first
we
episode, but
maybe. Yeah.
no, because we
Slid
were talking
into
about ourselves and, like, how we got to where we're at mentally
yeah.
and physically.
Amanda and Michael weren't doing so hot. He
Uh-uh.
didn't live in the States, and she was like, "Shit, I get off the pot, bro."
Yeah.
So
And
we
he's like,
did some,
I'm on the pot," and I'm like, "But you're not on the pot." I'm like,
yeah, some couples coaching, and
yeah,
here they are having a baby,
having a baby.
living together in
Mhm.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Hopefully, moving closer to us. Everything that we are literally enmeshed. I'm like, what? I'm like looking at all the land around my house so they can move closer. I'm like, can I kick my neighbors
I
out?
know. That's like, well, people, because sometimes clients are like, "Oh, so like you and Christy, like you guys both live in Arizona." I'm like, "Oh yeah, we live like 15 minutes away from each other." Like, really? I'm like, "Oh yeah, like
Yeah,
we
and we like
are
hang
up
out.
each other's butts and we
Yeah.
hang out and we enjoy each
Mhm.
other and it's really wonderful." And I think another thing too is like our minds work differently too. So it's
Mhm.
interesting from a business perspective
That's
because
so nice.
yeah, because sometimes you'll be like, "Let's do this." I'm like, "Let's ask these questions
Yeah.
and then let's see if we wanna do that, great, but let's just make sure we've got the questions." And then you'll be like, "Never mind." Or I'll be like, "Okay, I think that does sound good. Let's do it."
Yes.
So,
Yes.
it's very fun in that sense too, to see how your brain works on a back end of
It's
stuff.
crazy.
Yeah, it's like
This
it's
is why
fun.
process and automation is so important in my life because my brain doesn't have the capacity. I used to think I was a great multitasker. I am not.
You're not.
I'm not.
Nope.
So I like write notes down and I'm like, I finished notes that I was supposed to do last week today, but
Oh,
I
that's
did
good.
them. Yeah, I did it. But yes, that's been super helpful. And for a lot of people, you think, oh, you bring someone else in and this, you're going to feel differently or you're going to want control and it's your baby. And I'm like, I didn't have babies for a reason because I didn't want to deal with them. So I am perfectly
Okay, what you're
okay.
saying
And
is not resonating with me.
it takes the right person
Yeah.
to allow to like come in and, that podcast you sent me talked about like having a business partner is one of the most important things you can
Mhm.
do in your business. Like this whole idea of single entrepreneurship, while yes, can be done, the most successful companies in the world are through two people
Yeah.
that are that yin and yang, that make up for each other's, faults or challenges. I mean, it's like Mark and I.
Yeah.
He's the same way. And I think it's been so fun. And I'm just excited. I can't wait to be on our yacht.
That's Michael would like us to get a yacht too.
Yes.
He's the
PJs,
epitome
yachts.
of like he reminds me so much of Leonardo DiCaprio, like in a way, not like that he's gonna hook up with like 26-year-olds and dump them at that point,
Yeah.
but like just like when you
Uh-huh.
see him on the yacht with the belly out, like squirting the like water gun. Have you ever seen that? Like,
No.
yeah, that would be Michael.
Love it.
No, and I found it interesting too, going back to that real quick of the business partner stuff is when you started to hire coaches. And I was like, hey, whenever because I think you like mentioned it, and I was like, whenever you're ready, I'll submit a resume. And you're like, nope, like you're hired.
You're
And I was
hired.
like, well, one of the things that was nice about that was like, man, this chick like knows all my shit and not just my shit, but my relationship shit, which is different,
Mhm.
And I was like, and she still thinks I'm valuable to be hired to like take on clients that she like trusts me with. I was like, that's pretty like it's a good feeling, You're like,
Yeah.
"Aw."
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And you deal with me, which makes me happy.
You're not terrible.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I think in my brain, and then a lot of our clients can relate to this, you really try to do everything good.
Yeah.
And I'm okay when I'm just like, I can't do invoicing. Someone please take over invoicing.
Yeah.
No, and it's been humbling. It's also been like relieving. Like, please take this, please. So good. Good. Well, I hope that the audience has enjoyed the past 100 episodes of this podcast. You guys have literally been through Amanda's entire pregnancy.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I would be curious for them, whoever listens, in whichever way you like engage with us, whether that's through social media or like on our groups that we have, that I would be curious to hear their favorite episode or like the one that resonated with them the most. You don't have to like say the number, or like, was there a message that you heard that you're like, damn, that hits, or like an episode that resonated with you? Because I'd just be curious, like out of, like just for,
I want to know too.
Yeah. Like,
please comment wherever.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Phantom
comment. Phantom. Could be on social media. Could be on YouTube. Could be on. Is there commenting on Spotify? I don't think there is.
Yeah, there is. There is commenting on Spotify now.
Please. That would be awesome. Favorite episode or favorite message. Yeah. And we'll do this every 100 episodes.
So we got 100 more.
Yeah. And then on 500, we'll go through
we'll be on our yacht.
We'll be on our yacht. So we're going to play those episodes over because they were your 5 favorites.
Annoy our
so we can go on our go on our yacht. Yeah, they have to listen to it too. Mark listens to our podcast.
And Michael does not.
Yeah.
But he doesn't listen to podcasts. He just, I don't even know. He listens to music all the time.
Cars and video games.
Yeah, he listens to car like running all the time. It's so annoying.
Love it. Well, good. Well, guys, we thank you all. We thank the OGs who have been here from the get-go. We know who you are. For all of you who have given us a review, a subscribe, who've shared this with your family and friends. It's so crazy / awesome. It's all of the feelings all at the same time. And I can't believe we're at 100 episodes. We've literally talked 100 times about something.
100. We've literally talked for over 100 hours.
Oh, man. Thank you to Ira. Ira is our virtual assistant. Ira has been here the entire time.
Yep.
Cutting, editing, putting together the reels, posting on all of the things. Yep. So thank you, Ira.
After we learn stuff, changing. Oh, yeah. She's been a trooper in a way of like, every time we have an idea, okay, sounds good. Okay, gives feedback. Yeah. And then is always willing to help. She's doing docuseries for me.
Love it.
So
love it.
Yeah.
So we couldn't do this without you, Ira.
No.
And
don't leave us.
We want to bring her on full time. That's the goal.
I know.
Yeah. So Ira, just stick around for a little bit. And in order for that to happen, check out the Clarity Call link in the show notes below.
Plug!
Yeah. Don't forget, for the month of November, this will come out November 28th. We are doing our Black. It is Thanksgiving. Okay. So you will still get access. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Yeah.
We're so thankful for all of you. Oh, man. We should have said that in the beginning.
Well, we're thankful for them now.
We're thankful. We very much are.
Yes.
You can still take advantage of the Black Friday specials for coaching. You're going to get $500 off our one-to-one exclusive flagship coaching that includes the mindset method and one-to-one coaching with one of our coaches on staff. We're also offering 1 month free with the purchase of 3 months of our mindset method movement, which is our group coaching program. Also includes 2 group coaching calls each week, group coaching forum, as well as access to the mindset method. You also have the option for that to get custom exercise and nutrition coaching, or 3 months free with a purchase of a year. So you'll get 15 months for the price of 12. Check out the show notes for those links. And as always, if you don't give a shit about how many episodes we have, we at least want you to give a shit about this.
What you say in the mind.
You see in the mirror. Goodbye. Bye.